So this is the cheap capsule filling machine. It's about $10 from Amazon or eBay, various other places. Now it's a springy bit. It's got corner points. Now you'll see that the corner points has little dimples there, and the things that stick up, whatever they're called, screws, that helps it fit together. So that's the base plate. This is to put the main half of the capsules. These are 000 size capsules. These hold in total 1.37 mils. We're actually going to end up with 1 mil of liquid inside. Now the thing you need to know is that you can't put in anything that's aqueous, so only water-based liquid, because it will just dissolve the capsule. These are cellulose capsules. These slightest bit of water, they just break down. Obviously you want that to happen in the stomach. So you can only really use oil-based or pure oils with these things. For our purposes here, I'm going to be using Nigella Sativa or black seed oil or black cumin oil. Now the syringe here is all covered in Vaseline. Take it out, put some Vaseline around that rubber bit, and it makes it slide so much easier. Otherwise there's a little bit of friction and then you end up splodging it everywhere. So this is one of the bottles of black seed oil. I'm actually going to be using 2 of these to fill 1.37 mils capsules, which for reasons that will become apparent will end up with 1 mil each of the liquid. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw up the oil into the syringe. I'm going to do this in a way that risks making a bit of a mess. It's the old nurse's method, which is you ram that syringe in as hard as you can and then draw back. If you do it quick enough, the oil doesn't leak out so much around the neck of the bottle and you get it into the syringe. I'm just going to get rid of the excess air there. That's old habits die hard. And I'm just going to wipe the oil off my hands. Now all I'm going to do is literally squirt the oil into the capsules. Now don't fill these right up to the top, because that guide plate that helps fill it, that raises an additional height to the capsule. So essentially if you fill it all the way to the top there, you're going to get overspill. So you want to have it just below the surface, as you can see that I'm doing there. If you do spill it everywhere, actually it doesn't matter that much. It all depends on how expensive the oil is that you're filling with. So an alternative method is like I'm about to show, which is discard the syringe and just pour straight from the bottle. It's much easier to do this when there's slightly less than half the bottle that's left in there. When it's full, you're more likely to have overspill and it all comes pouring out. So I'm just topping up the various levels there where there's not been quite filled. So now this is just literally just fill your capsules. If it spills over, don't worry so much. We can deal with that later. So we're going to put this to one side. Now we're going to put the caps, or the shorter end. The long end holds 1 mil. The short end, 0.37 mils. And we're going to be putting the lids on there, or the short end of the capsule, which will basically just contain air. Now there's a logistical problem here. When we fill capsules with powder, as they squeeze together, the air can expel from the capsule and they come together quite nicely. Because we're using oil, that provides a nice little seal. So not all of the capsules are going to seal together correctly. Later on, as we go through this, you're going to see there's 2 that actually fall apart. And the reason there actually is because the long end, they weren't all long ends. 2 of them were actually the short end. So now we put the guide plate in there. Use the grooves that side up, so groove side up, that holds the capsules in place and enables us now to seal the capsules. So that's the liquid. We're now going to take the lids, once we remove that plate, we're now going to lift up the lids, flip them over and clip them in. You see the 4 holes in the corners, they connect with the 4 screws, and now by pushing down, we, in theory, seal all our capsules. Although, as you will see, there will be 2 that don't make it, simply because I put the wrong ones in the holes. But that happens. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Now, these capsules are now very, very oily on the outside because of the overspill has coated them. So now what I've got to do is clean them up. What I attempt here is to see if I can rescue those 2 that didn't work. I don't think I'll bother doing that again. I'll just discard them. It's much easier. We've got 100 there, so now we're going to end up with 98 capsules filled in the matter of minutes. using this very cheap device that I got off an online seller. So now the next thing is just to clean up the oil on the outside of the capsules. It doesn't really matter so much, but black seed oil, Nigella Sativa, is a pretty unpleasant flavour, well, to me anyway. So I'm now quite keen to clean it up. Please notice the newspaper we're using here is a copy of the Times. I would like to say I read it cover to cover, but I don't read it. This was one of my wife's papers. She doesn't know that I've used it. It's this morning's paper, I think. So she'll be looking for that later. So now it's just a case of just check any ones that didn't quite seal up properly. You don't normally have this problem with the when using dry powder. It's just because the seal that gets caused by the oil. So now what I'm going to do is just lift them all off, clean away everything that's all oily, put down some clean newspaper, and basically just clean up the capsules. Once they're cleaned up, I can then put them into a jar, and these I will keep in the fridge. And that's that. It's the simplest process in the world. It takes mere minutes to do and can save you quite a lot of money. Now, for those of you that want to buy black seed oil, if you have any idea about the health effects of this or the supposed health effects of this, the cheapest place to buy this is the Indian wholesalers. So the cash and carry places that supply to the Indian communities, they sell all the herbs and spices and curry sauces, all those kind of things. You find an amazing selection of herbs and spices in there, and black seed oil is normally behind the counter because it's a pricey item. So go to the counter and just ask them for it, and it comes in varying quantities. I think about 100 mils is anywhere between £4 and £10, depending on what brand that you buy. And that's it. That is now 98 capsules, because the 2 that we lost, black seed oil, each one containing 3 mils of Nigella Sativa oil. Okay, do please subscribe. I'm going to be doing lots of more of these videos. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one.